But it was brave of her. It really was.
That is, by the way, never after any artistic endeavor do you want to be complimented as brave. Never in your life is the word brave you want to be attributed to something you just performed in.
It's as bad as, or the same as, oh, good for you. You never want to be a good for you.
You never want to be a good for you. You never want to be brave. You never want to look like you were having fun up there. You don't want any of that. Oh my God.
All right, time to stop recording.
Oh yeah, sorry.
But leave that part.
So I met a new friend of my kid's friend, right? Like the parents where you're like, okay, are we going to be friends? Or we're going to have like a play date? Is this going to like, it's a little bit like dating.
It's dating. It's absolutely new dating. Sure.
So we went over to his house and it was clear right away, like we're going to be best friends. Like him and his wife were so cool or whatever. So he had invited me and my husband and our kids and also another family over, right?
Nice.
So there's like two of us kind of auditioning to be long-term friends.
You're balancing out the energies and having three couples rather than just two is less intense. Yeah.
Yep. So basically we're there and I'm meeting his family and his family is all in the arts and former Broadway people. And it was like a lot of it was just really great. And my husband, very sweetly, of course, I would never bring this up, was like, oh, David just won an Emmy, right? And they're all like, oh my God, so amazing. And both, you know, and so now I'm the star, right? Now I'm the star of this thing.
Just the way you orchestrated it and told Brian to do it in the first place.
Correctly, the way we had mapped out from the beginning. And so I get home and we just had a great time. And then I get a text from this friend and he's like, oh, so great to see you, hang out. Just found out, other person, right? The other family, she has 2 Emmys.
Oh my God. I did not see that coming.
So to have the rug pulled out from under me that way, I was like, oh, I can't even have 1 Emmy and be the star of this fucking show. This bitch has 2 Emmys. 100% more Emmys than I have.
That's officially the funniest thing you have ever brought.
Oh my God. So that was my weekend.
Oh my gosh, that's really, really funny.
No.
Only related in the sense of it happened this weekend. So I was actually away this weekend for work, and my partner he was all hands on deck, and we had not 1 but 2, not Emmys, but sports tournaments that had to be managed. And so he dragged my daughter kicking and screaming to my son's soccer tournament. And then, but the way he mitigated her fury with the entire process was he took her driving in an empty business lot.
Ooh.
Now, David, yeah, I mean, can you imagine how thrilling that was? Did you get taken driving when you were 14 by, I don't know, an uncle or a cousin or something?
Oh yeah,
or your
for
parents?
sure. Oh no, I remember going to an elementary school parking lot at night, and then my brother, and then also I think my dad at one point being like, "Hey, do you want to drive a little bit?" And me being like, "This is the greatest night of my life.
Yeah.
I feel so adult." Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And just driving around an empty parking lot that he said actually had like some hills and some like islands you had to kind of drive between. And I thought, I'm really pissed that I wasn't the one who got to do that with her. But how fun, for sure. And so that is neither here nor there, except to say that I'm pissed that I wasn't there. But it was a pretty magical moment for her and made her weekend not a complete failure because of you. Which I was definitely expecting.
It's also like, it's so sweet and so fun. And you're like, I'm the cool dad who's doing this.
Yeah.
And then also, this is the speed up to the end. This is when she drives the fuck away forever.
Tell me about it.
Thanks
for that.
Yeah. Speaking of nothing, speaking of running away forever, I sometimes we think about our childhood and we go, oh yeah, I loved these shows. And you remember it differently than what it was. And when you,
Oh, absolutely. Have you watched the pilot of The Flintstones?
Baby, that was 100 years before I was alive. No, I have never seen the Flintstones.
I somehow found The Flintstones because I thought, oh, I'd love my kids to watch The Flintstones. We watched the pilot. And let me tell you, I see what you have here on the outline, and it might be along the same lines because it was so blatantly racist.
Oh,
and I thought, oh, we're turning off the Flintstones now.
So what he's talking about was I'm in an effort to keep my kids able to sit through a story, a beginning, middle, and end, even if it's 9 minutes of Bluey. I don't want everything to be YouTube videos. So
15 seconds. Yep.
I turned on old school Scooby-Doo, like 1960s, 1970s Scooby-Doo, and they really love it. Like they'll sit, and it's a good 22 minutes, and they sit through the whole thing or whatever. Well, we're maybe midway through season 1, and they do an episode where all of them pretend to be Chinese people. And they all are in yellow face, and they all have buck teeth and rice hats, and they're all talking in accents. I mean, we're talking Scooby-Doo is doing yellow face. And I was like, oh my God, he's brown and he's doing yellow face. It was, I was like, oh, I mean, I always think about going back to watch like Ren and Stimpy, and you're like, oh, this was like a fucked up acid trip. But wow, were cartoons racist.
So that was exactly what happened. They weren't in yellow face, but in the pilot of the Flintstones, they, I don't know, go and get Chinese food. And you can just imagine the way they disrespect the owner of the Chinese restaurant. It is just out of 1958 racism. Yeah. And so needless to say, we didn't go on with the Flintstones. I think Scooby-Doo, I mean, you can't excuse that. But the overall challenge you have there is my desperation also to get my kids off screens, small screens, and say, please watch some TV. I'm begging them to watch a movie. Yeah. Something that actually goes for an hour and a half, God forbid. I'm regularly begging them to watch actual TV.
My entire industry is collapsing largely due to this. The screen habits of younger people are vertical and they're short form, and that it is just like we were talking about this at the party where I was the second place Emmy winner, where we were talking about how like to get our kids to sit and watch television seems like a chore, like we're making them go outside and like break rocks with a pickaxe, and it's like, oh, that is really weird because this was looked at as an exciting we get to watch TV, we get to watch a movie, and now they're like, oh, I would rather have my iPad. So those friends, they got rid of iPads. They got rid of all screens that aren't the television, and like they won't go on YouTube. And so it's been kind of inspiring. So we're going to try to do the same thing. We haven't done tablets in about a month, and I don't think we're going to go back. Maybe on like an airplane flight, but beyond that, we're not going to have them in the house.
Remember when airplanes were so exciting as a kid because you got to drink Coke and that was it? That was the thrill.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I mean, those entitled little shits, they'll have flights to look forward to just because they get to be on their iPads. Yeah. Speaking of traveling then also, my son got in his own kerfuffles this weekend. They did well in their soccer tournament, but mainly, can you imagine a soccer tournament in, I don't know, suburban Boston somewhere? I don't know where they were. And it was a hotel, a Homestead Suites or something basic that had like a dozen soccer teams staying there at the same time.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, you can imagine how much thrilling fun all of those teams are having because there was a pool. It was supposedly cold, but hey, they were still in that pool. There was a restaurant. Everybody ordered pizza. Like, how fun is that, right?
So fun.
Well, you can also imagine that dozens of teams, might be a slight exaggeration, but we're definitely talking 100 boys who are all between the ages of 10 to 14 are playing Manhunt around the hotel. Do you know what Manhunt is?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, the obvious joke here is the Manhunt, the website where I was to troll for Dick in college. But no, Manhunt was the game when I was exactly that age.
No kidding. I never even heard of Manhunt. The thing about Manhunt is, I don't know, but when I was playing games, we played Ring Around the Rosies and we shot squirrels. So with BB guns. So I had never heard of Manhunt before. I don't know. We were more capture the flag kind of community in suburban Colorado. But anyway, They were running around. They were pushing all the buttons on the elevator. They were running around screaming, etc., as you would imagine, right? Well, a woman, an employee, the bartender actually, who my partner said actually had a very heavy pour, so 2 points in her favor, stepped onto the elevator and trapped several boys in the elevator and said, you have got to stop this. You have got to stop running around like idiots. You've got to stop behaving this way. We're going straight to your parents. And the elevator closed behind her and she like trapped them on the elevator. Well, one of the boys recorded it on his phone and it was shared amongst the team. Listen, it's not that bad. And she had a right to be like, listen, you can't act like complete hooligans, you know? I mean, the secret to life is being a hooligan, but not getting caught for it, right? And so they need to run around quietly and they need to be somewhat respectful, don't they? I mean, she had a point.
I can only wait, but hold on, wait. Like I only because I'm an adult now. But as a kid, like I went out, just let me have fun. Like so, I don't think these are bad kids for having done this. I literally again, it was for figure skating competitions. But when we would travel, we would take over these hotels and be a fucking pack of animals.
Yes.
So I totally get it.
Yeah. Well, so that does lead me to my what would you do of the day, though.
Oh,
would you like to sing it?
What would you do?
That was far too good. But
no, I purposely didn't do it too good. I didn't do it too bad. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to show me up.
Yeah.
So my partner was furious at this situation. And he's like, I am writing a letter.
Oh, Jesus.
My son said, good, take that Karen down. And the other Karen who was also on the elevator. I'm like, oh, poor Karens across the world. It's just so unfair that they've become so objectified.
But do you think Karen Carpenter sits up in bed and is like, fuck my name. Fuck
Isn't
my
Karen
name.
Carpenter dead?
Oh.
She's isn't she?
I don't know.
Yeah, she's totally dead. So does she sit up from the grave and say, fuck my name? But here's the what would you do is would you try to take this person to task for screaming at the boys or just let it go? What would you do?
I don't see what the issue was. She got into an elevator and told the kids to stop running around like crazy. Did she hit them? Did she scream at them?
She wouldn't let them out of the elevator for what seemed like a long time. But listen, there's on video and it's not that long.
Okay. Yeah, I think she's in the right here. I would have done the exact same thing. Listen, how many times as kids did an old man Williker or whatever across the street yell at us or do whatever? It's like, listen, kids are supposed to be loud. But your parents sent him an apple pie afterwards and said, thank you, please keep yelling at our kids because somebody's got to do it. Like, don't you think it takes a village, man? I'm very okay with it. I just don't see what the problem was. What was the problem? The kids were loud and somebody told them to shut up. That's both of those things are supposed to happen. So what would I do? I would do nothing. I would say, hey, next time, try to keep it down a little bit and then just move on. Yeah.
Right. But you wouldn't react to the woman. You wouldn't write the manager and be like, no, fire this woman for yelling at our kids.
No.
Yeah. Well, she did yell directly at our son, and our son, he stood up for himself and he said, we weren't actually the ones running around. We were eating cupcakes just now. And so it does seem like they got in the line of fire and they weren't actually directly the ones at the time. But my partner was like, well, they were definitely running around a lot before that, but not in the moment that she got yelled at. She yelled directly at my son and he stood up to her and said, no, we were eating cupcakes. And I was like, oh, I'm so proud of you for like advocating for yourself.
Yes, but also, come on. Like, he was a part, this reminds me of, I was doing an opera, one of my very first professional operas I ever did. And all the boys.
We're going to come back to that, by the way.
All the boys were fucking around one day because, we were months into the run at this point and we were kind of bored. And the game was, we're doing Candide, by the way.
Okay.
The game was, can you sneak the word Skittles into the show tonight?
Right.
And of course, this is how all games on Broadway work. Yes. Some asshole took it too far and full out said the word Skittles in Bernstein's fucking Candide. The woman playing the old woman marched backstage, screamed at the top of her lungs at all the boys. And I happened to be kind of in the front of the room, so she was looking at me the whole time. And I was like, hey, first of all, I didn't say it. So stop yelling at me. And she's like, well, I'm sorry. I just know blah, blah, blah. Now, babe, I was fully playing the game.
Yes, you were.
Legally, I did not say the word. I think that's what your son was doing. He was like, legally, I was not exactly in this scenario. However, I did support the administration that, exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of administration, that kind of leads me to news of the week. As you might or might not know, there is absolutely no good news in the world right now. But I did dig deep to find some little rays of light here and there. First of all, a man from South Dakota who killed a two-spirit person was sent to jail. But it was only for 7 years.
I mean, the first part is not good, but the second part
it was only for 7 years.
Oh.
Like, that's a homicide. How are you only going to jail for 7 years?
Yeah.
But it's kind of good news that justice sort of reigned. Not exactly reigned.
I mean, did he only get sentenced to 7 years because it was like one of those, like trans panic pills or whatever?
Listen, we are not a news podcast, and I'm bringing you the headlines, okay?
I thought you say we're America's finest news source.
And we are. We're reliable, and we're reliable.
Or is it because we're fine?
Or that.
Okay. All right.
So some men in Kenya, I mean, I feel like picking on another country is not cool, but some men in Kenya got 15 years for robbing some gay tourists. And so, believe it or not, that made it into the news. And I'm glad. I mean, sorry, Kenya, but don't rob the gays, right?
Would they get like an Amex Black and like a bottle of Prep? Like, what did they get from them?
Like I said, I am not here to give you the details.
Okay.
I'm just giving you a little bit.
You're just giving me the headlines. You're giving me the TikTok news.
I'm avoiding that phrase right there.
Got it. Okay.
Because I thought first of all, you've never engaged in the news ever. You just let me say it.
Never one time. Never.
But what the best part is, the oldest gay bar in Wisconsin is being given historic status by the state. And that is your good gay news of the week.
That is good gay news. Fantastic? You know what it is? And also, like, I've been working in Wisconsin for 10 years now. I have a reoccurring gig in Appleton, Wisconsin, which is like really lovely. And I have just fallen in love with the state and the people. So whenever I hear things coming out of Wisconsin, I'm very, very happy.
Well, so not to leave on a happy note, though, it's in Milwaukee. It's a Milwaukee bar called the This Is It, I believe. And it had been around for a really, really almost 6 decades. But guess what? It closed in 2025. Oh. Now, let's hope this historic status by the state will actually maybe revive it. I mean, let's have, the Stonewall of Milwaukee.
Yeah, but even Stonewall's not fucking safe nowadays.
Well, that's for sure.
Yeah,
totally. That's for sure. But nevertheless, I think that is a little bit of good news to take on your way. And by on your way, I mean straight to our DILF of the week.
Nice transition.
So, DILF of the week. This week, we already talked about the Oscars briefly. This is not the Oscars morning after podcast, so we won't necessarily go into it. But hey,
I think we were doing that before we started recording. So
yeah, I know. No. Right. So, but I was reminded in his presentation how incredibly sexy is Javier Bardem.
Yeah.
I used to think he was just plain weird, but I think my first exposure to him was in the Coen Brothers movie where he was an executioner. Do you know
where he had like the little cow air rifle thing? Yeah.
What was that one?
Mm-hmm.
You remember? Okay, well, I thought he was just weird, but he had a bad haircut, right?
Yeah.
But boy, that voice.
He had that like bowl cut or whatever. Like that weird like, yeah.
Anyway, for no good reason except that he's hot. Javier Bardem is our DILF of the week.
It is our only requirement. For those of you out there who want to be the DILF of the week, here are the requirements. Be hot. End of list. You don't even have to be a dad. Like at this point, we have let anybody can be a DILF of the week as long as you're hot.
And obviously, I feel like we need the disclaimer, hot is a relative term, and we are here for all of the hotness. So, yeah. Also, what are we here for? Our top 3 list.
Gaytriarchs top 3 list. 3, 2, 1.
I literally was going to leave it to you because I feel like I always take the top 3 intros. And then I think we got so used to it that me just not talking, you were like, oh, I don't know what to do. Yes.
Terrible.
All right. So this week is your week, I think.
It sure is. This week is top 3 wars. So number 3 for me, World War II. I mean, it's the classic. It's the hair. It's the glamour. It's the music,
The
which is so
hair and the
fantastic.
glamour. I love that you just said the hair and the glamour.
And of course, I mean like 1943 Hollywood starlets, and I suppose the men with their pompadours as well. And but the music is so great, and I don't know, the flyboys are hot, and it's just like it's a sexy war. Plus, like fighting Nazism is pretty sexy, and I mean, you know. It's overall number 3 on my list is the top 3 war. Number 2, the War of the Roses. I mean, the War of the Roses, it inspires Shakespeare. It's a bunch of family drama, just family drama. Cousins murdering cousins over a shiny crown. It has got all the elements of the soap operatic drama that we love, right? So the War of the Roses, number 2. Number 1 for me, the Trojan War.
Oh.
I mean, after all, it is all about Achilles being a superpower. Achilles, who is probably most likely gay, and he's pissed that his lover was killed by, I don't know, some Helen of Troy, or no, it's not Helen of Troy. But anyway, and but can you imagine? I definitely, thanks to Hollywood and our overactive and horny imaginations, it was just a bunch of men running around with 8-packs or hot dad bods in, you know, loincloths and spears and killing each other, but having lots of sex at night. So
is it because of Hollywood that in my mind, whenever you say Achilles, I think of the most muscular, leanest, like blonde, fair hair. Okay, because I was like, when you said Achilles, I was like, yeah, he's hot. Also, Trojan, name of our favorite condom.
Say no more.
Right? We love condoms.
Not sponsored by not sponsoring our podcast, but we hope you will be eventually. This episode brought to you by
Trojan condoms, extra, extra small for those of you out there with big dicks. All right. So
what about
for me,
you? Top 3 wars, bud.
Top 3 wars. Okay. And number 3, the Cold War. I love a shady, passive-aggressive, side-eye, backroom, side chat. I love the passive-aggressiveness of a Cold War. Oh my God. Love it.
Great.
Number 2, the war on drugs. I never wanted to take drugs until I had to go to DARE assemblies. I had to hear about the war on drugs. I had to hear about all the people who were desperately trying to give me free drugs so I get addicted to real drugs. I was like, what is this stuff? This sounds great. So thank you to the war on drugs. And number 1, this is my favorite war of all time, the war on Christmas. I think it is generous of us liberal folk to give the Republicans something to fucking talk about. Because if they didn't have the war on Christmas, what the fuck else would they talk about? Obama's suit? Do you remember when there was the photo of Obama riding his his bicycle with a helmet, and they kept doing a split screen with fucking Vladimir Putin with his shirt off riding a horse, and they're like, there's the real leader, right?
Right.
If we didn't have the war on Christmas, I don't think Fox News would exist between November and January. So number 1, the war on Christmas.
Excellent.
All right, next week, let's do, and you can't say us on this one.
Of course.
Who are the top 3 worst gay people?
Hey, David.
Yeah?
Our next guest is, okay, we keep introducing people as being multi-hyphenates, but this one is for sure a multi-hyphenate. She's a ray of light in a dark world. Mm-hmm. She's the frosting on a delectable cupcake.
Wow.
The happy ending of a really shitty book. She's a podcaster, an influencer, comedienne, and now she gets to say she's a gaytriarch. Anna Przy, welcome to Gaytriarchs. Thank you for joining us.
Wow. I like that intro so much because people usually say things I do, but you added Prisisms, basically.
He compared you to the frosting on a delectable cupcake.
I know.
Also,
you know what?
You
should
also
record
a happy
this
ending.
Yeah, that's true. You did say a happy ending. You should record that and make that the ringtone every time Gavin calls you. It's just compliments.
I will.
Yeah.
Except phone calls are not my thing. So, Anna, what I want to know first and foremost at the very top here is, why are you so freaking proud of us?
Oh my gosh. I think I lived my whole life, with this very weird set of societal rules where I was like, I have to be this person. I have to be this person who goes and gets the job and gets the degree and marries the guy and does everything in order and does it perfectly. And I just know how exhausting life was. And I know everybody else did the same shit in some variety of way.
Uh-huh.
And it was when I realized that I was still so valuable, like not doing any of it,
Good.
that I was like, oh man, I hope you know that like somebody's proud of you too.
Mm-hmm.
Because, wow, what a long life it is to not think that anybody's proud of you.
Yeah.
Unless you did it the right way. You're like, well, you didn't do it the right way anymore. So now what?
Yeah.
It's like, nope, still so proud.
Oh my God. Yes. It's so relatable. I was just, as you were talking, I was like, we all fall into those traps. And I was just thinking, even me as a gay man who already I'm starting life a little bit like outside the bounds of what I was supposed to do. Like I'm not currently fucking women. So I'm like, haha, I'm such an anarchist. But then I'm still falling in line with like the go to college, get a job,
Yeah.
find a relationship, get married. So even I fall into those traps, and you have to question yourself of like, am I doing this because it is the kind of groove carved in my life, or is it, but I earnestly like it?
It totally depends too. People will be like, Anna, but what if I want to get the promotion at work? I'm like, all I want for you is for you to choose the things that you want to do. Like, I just want you to consider yourself in your decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is it you making that decision, or is it like an innate pressure you have inside of you that's like, I should want this promotion that's going to make my life twice as busy and like take away my work-life balance. And like, if it's really what you want, then that's amazing. But I want you to want what you want.
And it's tough when we are in control of little manipulatable beings we are trying to guide through to the next parts of their lives, meaning children. And we're still kind of controlling it, which, let's face it, control isn't exactly what you want to label parenting, but you are controlling kids. And my kids in particular are 12 and 14 now. And I think about how they don't care about grades the way I did, or they don't care about success. They are not remotely defining success the way I did when I was 12 and 14.
I like that reframe you just did there.
My daughter the other day, she got a good report card. It was very good.
Oh God.
And I said,
choking back
hey,
his real opinion.
You did a great job on your report card. She goes, I really don't care, Dad. It's just a report card. Yeah. Which made my head explode. But I said nothing. I just said, well, I don't mean to make a big deal out of it, but I'm proud of you. So good job on your report card. And she's like, whatever, barely looking up from her phone at the meantime. But it is, I think you, Anna, might be able to be optimistic that the kids these days are like, fuck you and your expectations of what success means. Hopefully.
But also, wait, can I just jump in here really quick? First of all, we paid for those kids, so we can do whatever the fuck we want.
You're like, bought and paid for.
Legitimately, I could live in a much bigger house if it weren't for you fuckers. But also, I want to just frame it for our listener who doesn't know who you are. Who are you? Why are you here?
Please.
Yeah.
Why the fuck are you here on this Gay Dads podcast?
Right. I am a content creator, which is still weird to say even after 5 years. Mm-hmm. But I started this platform basically when I was deconstructing like everything I ever thought I knew to be true in my life during the pandemic, because I lost my job. And to me, that was everything. That was like my whole identity, my whole person, my whole being, my whole reason for living. And then it was gone. So no pressure. To be like, oh, cool. I have no frame of reference for like if I'm a good, successful person anymore.
Yeah. I'm just a shell of a human being now. Great. Cool.
Literally, that's what it was. And you're just like, awesome. I'm having fun. But essentially I got online and was like, hey, I'm not having fun. Is everybody else also not having fun? And everyone was like, yeah, no, this is the worst. I was like, wait, are we all miserable? Are we all having a really hard time? And I just feel like nobody was telling me that before. Like, I've posted once on Thanksgiving about like how I liked not going to Thanksgiving because it was so fun at home alone where nobody made me cry. And everybody like, went crazy on it. And I was like, wait, do you cry at Thanksgiving too? I was like, are these universal experiences that we're all having? Right. And so I just created this platform where I tried to tackle the things that I was learning and unlearning and like trying to reframe in my life and trying to literally redefine success for myself because my life looked so different. And I was like, what do I latch onto here? Like, are you telling me I'm just going to have to spend time with myself? And
yeah.
And be okay with it.
valuable
You're like,
out
no
of thin air.
thanks. No thanks. She's annoying. I don't like her.
Yeah,
She's so
literally.
annoying.
And I was like, I'd never spent time with myself. So that was terrifying.
Yeah.
To not, to center my life around myself, which is kind of what my entire platform is now, is like, hey, did you know that like it's your life?
Yeah.
Right.
It's so wild to hear somebody not. So Gavin and I come from being, in the arts world, right? We were Broadway performers, and there is such, I mean, this is everyone, but there is such a tie to employment and self-worth.
Yes.
And it is this thing that goes on. You'll go on a national tour. You'll be on Broadway for 3 years, and then the show will close. And the next day you're like, I am nothing. I am fucking
I'm a failure.
Trash. And it is weirdly heartwarming to hear that from somebody else who's not in the arts, because I always assumed it was just like if you're a dancer and you're not dancing, then you like, but a lot of people tie their self-worth to their employment, which is BT Dubs super fucked up, because you know what I mean?
You're like, that's not like what you're going to leave in this world. They're going to be like, she was such a good event planner.
Mm-hmm.
Her marketing manager materials was just really incredible.
She marketed the shit out of those things. No, it's so funny you say that, because I went on tour. I was on tour for 6 weeks performing comedy, which is something else I do in this long list of things. And I got home, and same thing. It was because I did 16 show run. It was successful in all the rooms had people in them. They were excited to be there. Right. I sold merch. I met people. Like, it was a good tour. It went well.
Yeah.
But my brain was like, well, you're not rich.
Yeah. So you're a piece of shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're like, you did bad. And I was like, Anna, it's not like, what is this thing where like I can still struggle so much with being like, I did good. Mm-hmm. Just because my bank account isn't like, you did good.
The comedy that I first latched onto when I first became obsessed with your Instagram handle, which, by the way, for the world out there, please go to it after you listen to this, is at AKPRZY, which is Anna K. Przy. But is you screaming about the reality that we live in, and you screaming hilariously at the camera or rolling around, you've got your tongs, you're pulling a vacuum, and you're saying it isn't okay and it's okay to not feel okay. And the comedy, but I know that your comedy, your brand goes much deeper than just, hey, politics are totally fucked up right now. But but we're laughing a lot about this, and I would imagine I'm sure the comedy helps you through, but we're laughing about really dark stuff, right?
Always. My touring show is about my family. So that's, this whole other thing. And my family is like such troopers because they've seen the show multiple times. Like,
they have.
And they do not come home and be like, you're a terrible person. My aunt, on the other hand, she did. She did say that. But
well, so has it been therapeutic for everybody to come together around and cry together at Thanksgiving instead of isolating somebody?
My immediate family, my parents, yes, they are so on board. They think their thing now is they think it's very important to let your children tell their story from their point of view.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm like, thank you for saying that. I love to hear it. And she said it's just so nice to hear your memories from your point of view versus what I remember. And so you'll have that to look forward to.
I love the conversations I have with either my mom or like older members of my family, and I'll say something, they'll be like, that never happened, and I'm like, yes, it fucking did.
Yeah, you're
yes, it fucking did. Or she'll be like, oh, remember when you said this thing? I was like, that didn't happen. You read that in Chicken Soup for the Soul 2, and you attributed it to me, and you have replayed that in your head to where it feels nicer that I said that. But wait, I want to go back to something, because I think this is very... Your account is amazing, and everyone should follow you. And what I love is that you wrap all of these really great thought pieces in you fucking dive rolling down a fucking hill, which is just hilarious. But I think a lot of parents, and this is, again, partially why we started this podcast, lose themselves in the act of parenting. And then they are like, wait, who am I if I'm not a parent? And then when the kids leave the house, they are like, I am nobody. I am an empty person. And I have always been emphatic about parents. I always say, put your mask on before you put the mask on others. Yeah. You have to be a full human being to be a good parent. But it's almost impossible. I fail at it
Yeah.
every single day. Do you have any advice to parents to maintain a sense of self while being in the midst of parenting, which is like the second hardest thing I've ever done, other than watching Pretty Woman the musical? That was really hard to do.
I mean, you have to. And people like will fight me on this one all the time, you know, even when I'm like, you have to put yourself first in your own life. And I'll get feedback and they're like, I'm a parent, so I can't. And you're
No,
like,
you still should.
I'm like, no, I'm telling you right now, like.
And by the way,
parenting isn't like-
by the way, we're not talking about not feeding them, clothing them, protecting them,
mean,
loving them. Not that part. We're talking about, yeah.
But like when you have those 5 minutes of free time, like you can make a different choice in what you do with them.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't, I think it's like anything. It's like a job when your job's your entire identity. It's like a sport when this athletic thing is your entire identity. And every free moment you have, you continue to put into that thing. Like even when the kids aren't there, you're like, I'm going to prep something for later. I'm going to do something about this. And it's just like, I know that like you do not want to take the time to like walk away and like maybe leave a mess and like maybe, you know, not go the route you think you should go today. But it's like, if you don't have something you enjoy, if you don't have like a life for yourself, like you're just setting yourself up to go insane.
Yeah.
And the other thing is like, you're an example too. I feel like I didn't know how to have hobbies because I never watched my parent. Like there are these
Totally.
And for me, it was the opposite. They had too many hobbies and I was alone. So,
well, I was definitely going to ask what did they do to fuck you up back in the day that they're now reconciling with now?
So my parents are elite athletes.
Oh, okay. Not
so,
where I
mean,
expected this to go.
I am sure it is
Same.
like anything.
No,
I'm
same.
sure it is like anything where your parent is just a very important person in some world where you're like, who the fuck am I? Like, what am I? Because they were, you know, competing in the Ironman World Championships 2 years in a row in the 80s.
Wow.
They became world-class marathoners.
Wow.
And then my dad had a heart transplant and then still kept doing all this. Like, it was
shit.
it's like, it just, so for me, it was like, can you tell me it's okay if I don't do that? Or like, what about me? Like, where am I in this? No, I think I got left behind a bit.
Yeah.
And then, you know, my brother, he just went their same route, right? And like, and I tried to go their same route, but like,
yeah, there's going deep on your Instagram. You definitely have your elite athlete photos out there.
yeah. But like, ultimately failed and burnt out, like, which is bound to happen if you're doing something that like is not for you.
Right.
I don't know. It just never felt like I had any other options either.
Yeah.
Like their whole thing was like sports were the only important thing in the whole world, and you're just like, okay, guess I'll do that. And you know,
that sounds like a
I think,
nightmare.
yeah.
Sports
And then
as a whole world. Oh my god.
my
I mean,
whole
unless
life-
we're talking like figure skating or like men's high bar, but like other than that, like what?
No,
Oh
just
my
running,
god.
like
Oof.
running.
What are you running from? Confront your problems. Stop running from your
Well, no,
problems.
we didn't. See, that's the thing.
Yeah.
No one in my entire family did until like they stopped running for a minute.
But there is that balance. I think this is what you're alluding to. And I think I had the inverse. Like when I grew up, my parents were only parents. That's all they were. That was their entire identity. I remember thinking as a kid, God, I wish you guys had a life outside of me that I could participate in, that I could find joy in. Like the one time I remember my dad did like this like spring training camp baseball thing for like adults that like they pretend that you're a real baseball player, and he just fucking loved it. We'd go to his games or whatever. And I remember for the first time being like, this is fun to like do something, like go to their
See
thing.
something that he's into.
Yeah. And so, because my parents kind of became parents only, and I think they lost themselves a little bit in that. And it sounds like yours is the total inverse. And it's like, how do
inverse.
we?
It's they
and
had lives, and I was a part of their life
only.
And you're like,
to an extreme.
Yeah,
awesome.
to an extreme. But how do we? This is my question to you: is like, how do we as parents find that balance?
Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's got to be somewhere in the middle. Like it can't be all or nothing. Yeah, you can't just be a parent, and you can't just be a child of a parent. That's like an entire life that you just get dragged along to. I don't know. Letting them have their own choices. Like I just didn't have choices.
Mhm.
Like I didn't. The other thing, and I don't know, like, I mean, I had eating disorder my whole life since I was 7. And that went on and got worse and worse until I almost died. And you know how it goes.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that was this whole other thing. It was like, there was only one thing in my family, and it was athletics and health and food. And that was it. And you're just like, could we go to a park or
or
like, we can
or
go
eat
to a
McDonald's French fries once in a while, just 'cause,
right? Yeah, you're like, could we have
pleasure.
a snack and maybe a candy
and not be physical
and don't make me feel weird about it? You're like, just like
oh boy.
some semblance of balance. And
Yeah.
I'm watching it happen too with my niece. You know, like she'll say something is fat, and I'm just like, oh, it's happening.
Wait,
The
fat
boyfriend,
like FAT or like early 2000s PHAT,
No,
like
like
baby
FAT,
fat?
like,
oh, okay. Yeah.
I had a stuffed unicorn. She's like, that is a fat stuffed unicorn. And I was like, it is a fat stuffed unicorn, okay? But like, I don't want you to say that.
Yeah.
Right.
But do you remember when PHAT was like, it was
Yeah.
like cool. It was
Baby
like
fat.
drips. Yeah,
And-
baby. Exactly. Get me on my baby fat. Yeah. It's
So-
not PHAT anymore.
But you did say to me though that you do have a good relationship with your mom now, right? And
Yeah.
presumably the rest of the family. But and are they? How has that come about?
My mom started therapy.
Okay, they're plain and simple, and
That changed a lot. No,
Yeah.
I really think it was, she was consuming my content. She was listening to my show. She was coming to see my live shows. She was watching me for the first time ever exist in a space that she wasn't familiar with.
yeah,
And I don't know what happened in their brains, but it was this like, oh, we're very proud of you.
right, great.
And I was like, and I was searching for this same validation in every other corner of the world. Like,
Well, speaking of other corners of the world, one of your hyphenates that I actually left out is leading world tours, right? And taking
Yeah.
groups on big old trips. How did that come about? As a
So
complete right
I-
turn here.
yeah, totally unrelated. But I had no life, right? I had no life for most of my life, and I also make a joke about this in my comedy show. I say, imagine my surprise when I found out about travel for pleasure, because I had been to a million places. I had been to the Honolulu Marathon and the Anchorage Marathon,
right.
and I had been to the San Diego Marathon, and the New York City Marathon, and the Chicago Marathon, and the Disney Marathon. Been to them all. The marathons.
Right.
And you're like, but I had never done things like for myself. And
For fun.
I'm still like not the best at detangling my pleasure from my financial, there's that thing where you turn everything into a job sometimes. But this is a really cool way for me to see the world. And it is freaking magical to take my community is the most wonderful human beings on planet Earth. Like, it was very scary, obviously, to be like, let's gather up some strangers from the internet and all go on vacation together.
Well, Gavin and I have done that too, but it ended up in a very different place.
Right.
Yeah.
So I even say this to other people who want to do it. I'm like, you need to take into consideration like who your audience is, because mine is 96% women over 40. Like, I feel pretty safe. I feel like we're a good group. And like, but if you have like any men who follow you and like have any potential to be weird about it,
right.
I'm sorry. Are men weird to women? Is that something new? I'm not learned about.
Totally normal. Always.
Generally, they're pretty safe to be around. But it's something interesting that I always think about. We've interviewed quite a few social media people on the show, and one thing I'm always fascinated by is something that Gavin and I have experienced a little bit, which is your immediate feedback at your job. Your immediate feedback.
Yeah.
I post a video and I get likes, I get thumbs downs, thumbs ups, I get criticisms, I get praise. And how you kind of negotiate that, because I will never forget as long as I live. I was doing Les Mis, and we found a chat board that was talking about our production of Les Mis, and it was all positive comments. And they were like, David is great, and this person's great, and blah, everyone's great. And it was like 100 comments, and there was one person that basically was like, he's okay, talking about me. And I was like, great, I suck and I'm horrible, and I could never have the reach that you do. How do you deal with? Are you able to just kind of filter like the negative and be like, fuck this, or do you ingest all of it?
it depends.
Okay.
I literally can tell how I'm doing mentally based on like where a comment sends me. Like if it sends me to the moon, I'm like, you maybe need to get off the internet. But if I think it's funny and I like screenshot it and post it, then I'm like, okay, I'm in a place where like I realize how ridiculous this is. Like this has nothing to do with me. This is, it's always a man.
No, we're terrible. We really are terrible. We really. I mean, I'll admit it. We're terrible.
It's not all
one
men.
One thing a man hates to see is a woman having fun. Okay.
Oh yeah.
It's not all men, but it is always a man.
It's always. That's a great quote
this morning.
They are very uncomfortable with a woman having fun in her plus size clothing.
That doesn't involve you, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A woman having fun outside of you.
Yeah. I mean, there was the one woman, she left me the comment and she said that like I had made a comment about how my grandma made a comment about me that I didn't have the body for a 2-piece. And she commented and she's like, well, you don't. And I was like, oh, gross.
You're like, great. Wow. I'm showing up at your house tomorrow. Good luck.
You're like, really? A woman? No, but I mean, I also know where it comes from. And I think this is maybe a problem I have in the way where like anybody who does something mean, like I will work my way around it 1,000 times. Like, well, their mom probably said that to them. Like,
yeah,
it's hard to just be able to let that go, huh?
Yeah.
We were talking about when you first came on. You have a daily podcast.
Yeah.
David, can you imagine?
I cannot imagine the work it must take to do a daily fucking podcast.
But in the 5 minutes of your daily podcast, it is segmented in such, frankly, I think, adorable ways, which hopefully that is complimentary and not good. I mean, I find it completely it makes me feel good about myself and the rest of my day. And you're now doing it daily and it's a pain in the ass, sort of. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I think it's good and bad. It's like the one thing that I know I have to do in a day, which as a content creator who's my own boss, it is like very hard to nail a day down. Like, what are we doing today? I don't know. Chaos.
But are you sleeping with your boss?
What?
Yeah. Like, okay. All right. Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, okay.
Constantly.
Okay,
I was like, wait.
Yeah. You're like, wait, that was me. Wait a minute. I see the joke he's setting up here.
I am in every day. No, it's the one thing that's really good for it for me is that I have to write it every day.
Good.
And it means that I'm constantly having to like remind myself like why I'm doing this, the things I believe in, and like I never get to backslide into like you're the worst because it's like, nope, you're not the worst.
Just keep pushing forward.
Let's write about it. Like if you're feeling like you're the worst, like go sit down at the computer and make it a segment. But it does. I really like that I get to check in with myself every day, and I've created this like entire job of making my own life better, and in the process, hopefully helping other people never have to go through anything that I've ever gone through. That's the goal.
Good. All right. That works perfectly fine. So now your stand-up, you are, you have another tour coming up, right?
Yes. So I have decided this is not a traditional way to do anything, but I will be doing 1 week a quarter. So that is how.
Oh.
Because being away from home for 6 weeks was just like, I'm like, I'm almost 40. I'm like, it's just like the road life is not for. It is and it isn't. So I was like, I love to do a week. 6 weeks, never again. Maybe 2 weeks. So yes, I'm going out in April and I'm doing Minneapolis, Omaha, Kansas City, St. Louis, and Indianapolis. So like a little Midwest loop.
Sure.
And all in a week. So it'll just be lovely.
Yeah. Is that just you behind the wheel, driving, listening to podcasts and thinking about your place in the world? Okay.
Love that.
Literally.
That sounds
I write
amazing.
a lot of jokes while I'm driving. That's like another thing. And then you just voice record yourself. And no, I like driving. I drove 125 hours in October.
Dang. Sounds like a lot. Although maybe that's just from there to Peoria. I don't know. Is 125 hours? That means 24 times.
I drove like to Florida, to Texas, to Washington. So I did
dang. That's a lot.
Kind of the whole thing.
So I have so if you could boil down, like if you're thinking you're talk to a dad or a parent, and you're like, let me give you one piece of advice that I'll give you to kind of create a family, create a world for your kid that is helpful. Like, could you boil that down to like one thing? Like, here's something that could be really helpful.
My thing would be like knowing and getting it through your head that it can change and it will change. Because I think you get so stuck in like a way, or you're doing it one way and you're used to doing it one way. And even if your kid, like they've been doing it one way and then they change, because I think even that was what I wanted to know as a kid, was like, you can change. This can change. This is just, it can all change. Not to say like routines are bad. Obviously they're great and they keep you in line and stuff, but it's just like, maybe let everybody know like it's okay if every once in a while like we go off the rails.
Yeah, I mean that's Gavin needs to learn a lesson. Gavin hasn't changed since he was 19.
I'm pretending that things are not going off the rails all the time, and all of us are always pretending, and we might as well stop pretending. And
my therapist said yesterday, I said, I feel like I'm holding onto the edge of a ledge and I'm watching everything roll off of it and I'm just letting it happen. And she was like, well, why don't you just let go? And I was like, oh shit. Oh God.
Oh shit.
Well, Anna, we so appreciate you demeaning yourself and being on our stupid little podcast. You and your tongs and your rolling and your just everything makes everything better. And truly, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. This was lovely.
So it was the Oscars 3 nights ago. I did not watch, but I did get to watch some of the kind of footage afterwards. I saw the girls singing Golden and a couple other things. But one of the things that came across my FYP was the Disney commercial. Have you seen this commercial yet?
No.
Gavin? When I tell you I was choking, I was crying so hard that I thought I was going to wake up my family this morning. It is so beautiful. And listen, it's not groundbreaking, but it's a commercial for Disney Cruise Lines. And it basically opens on an old man with glasses. And he's kind of looking out the window he's on the Disney cruise out of his window and he sees the moon or whatever. And then it like kind of does like this quick transition to where like it's young him with a little baby on the same boat. And he's like, the baby won't sleep. And so he walks out on the deck and there's, a little guy cleaning. He's like, oh, hi. And he's holding the crying baby. And as you can imagine, it keeps cutting to work. Now he's holding a toddler on the boat. Now he's holding now the teenager. He's like, hey, do you want to go to the show? And he's like, I'm just going to stay in my room. Right. And then it keeps going. And then obviously it cuts to the old man and he goes to lay down and there's a knock on his door. It's the middle of the night and it's his son with his grandson. He's like, he won't sleep. Right. And he, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It made me cry so hard this morning. I sent it to everybody I knew. And so
not me.
Well, I don't really know.
Thanks a lot.
Well,
that's true. We don't.
So anyway, my something great, even though it made me cry, it's really beautiful, is the Disney commercial. What about you?
My something great today is my partner, Todd Ellison, who really, really, really made me laugh so hard. And I don't think that he is very private and never wants to be discussed, frankly. But in this case, last night he was making me laugh so hard because last night being Sunday night when we were watching the Oscars, and I was barely paying attention to it, but all he wanted to do was see Barbra Streisand. He's like, I don't care about the rest of the thing. I just want to see Barbra Streisand.
Your husband sounds pretty gay.
He's a big fan from back in the day, right? And did you watch that portion of the Oscars?
I did not, no.
I mean, she did a tribute to Robert Redford, and she sang some of The Way We Were. And she did the end of the song with some soaring high notes. And Todd just made me laugh so hard. And it's so great to laugh really, really hard with your partner that you've been with for, 22 years.
Wow.
When he was making me laugh so hard because he said, I was gripping the couch really hard as she was hitting those notes. And it was kind of embarrassing, but really brave of her. And the way he picked apart her performance with total celebration just made me want to say good for the bravery of old people like Barbra Streisand, and also thanks Todd for just making me laugh really hard. And that's our show. If you have any comments, suggestions, or general compliments, you can email us at GaytriarchsPodcast@gmail.com.
Or you can DM us on Instagram. We are at GaytriarchsPodcast. On the internet, David is at David FM Vaughn everywhere, and Gavin is at Gavin Lodge on The Way We Were.
Please leave us a glowing 5-star review wherever you catch your podcasts.
Thanks, and we'll sing poorly with you next time on another episode of Gaytriarchs.